Alright, so this is my points to notice for a love song with two goldfish. So first, in the title, you notice it's bounded by parentheses, which is supposed to mimic the fishbowl. But that comma there in the middle separates the idea of love from the two goldfish. So hopefully from the title, which not many of you addressed actually, but that's okay. You know that their love will not last. In stanza 1, he's a drifter always floating around her, has nowhere to go. He wishes she would sing. Not much, just the scales, or take some notice given the fisheye. So this has the idea that the male doesn't really have control of his actions. The word choice of drifter, floating, and wishing makes it seem like he's trapped there, and that's his attraction to the female is based on. And then we have the fish puns in 4 and 6, just the scales given fisheye. So scales as a play on words for the fish body, and fisheye as a play on words for like giving the eye versus like a fisheye lens, which is a really wide lens. And then something to notice is that the male stanzas that focus on the male goldfish are 6 lines, and the female stanzas are 5 lines, so it's alternating until the last stanza. So you didn't want to do a lot of complicated math here, but just the idea that in society and in relationships, males get more focus than females. Okay, so stanza 2, bounded by round walls, she makes fish eyes and kissy lips at him, darts behind pebbles, swallows his charms, hook, line, and sinker. So she's also trapped, bounded by round walls. And then she does give in and give the kissy lips and swallows his charms, hook, line, and sinker. The fish puns that he wanted, she is acquiescing to. But when you swallow a hook as a fish, that leads to your death. So that's what, you get caught on when you're hurled up to the surface. So this is implying her sort of figurative death of freedom. In stanza 3, he's bowled over. He would take her to the ocean. They could count the waves. There in the submarine silence, they would share their deepest secrets, die for pearls like stars. So this is interesting because this seems to be like their dream phase. They can't count waves, they're in a fishbowl. They can't die for pearls, they're in a fishbowl. They can't look at stars, they're in a fishbowl. But the word choice of this sort of future progressive, he could, they would, is their desires. And then there's a lot of sibilants here. Submarine silence, share, secrets, stars, which I think is supposed to be like the S of the water, or even like the S of like hissing, like suffering or sin. And then in stanza 4, her love since gone belly up, which is another fish pun because when fish die, they're belly up. His heart sinks like a fish, he drinks like a stone. So those two puns are typically his heart sinks like a stone and he drinks like a fish. So sinking like a stone is depression and drinking like a fish is alcoholism. But here they're inverted, so it's supposed to be almost mocking this relationship. It's a lighthearted jab at these two fish. He drowns those sorrows, stares emptily through the glass, which again is a reference to alcohol. And then the last stanza is a shift in the structure and the topic. The reason she said she wanted, and then new parentheses, he could not give. And then the only phrase not in parentheses is a life beyond the, and then again, bowl. So this idea that neither of them are free, so neither of them can totally embrace love. It's important that they're goldfish because they're childish pets. That's your first pet you get at a carnival when you're 3. And they're also stupid. They'll eat themselves to death if you let them. And they're short-lived, so they typically last, less than a year. So your thesis statements were good as long as you address the idea of the fish, the parentheses, and the inverted puns, and then the tone established by all of the fish imagery and like light-hearted puns that are changed to mean something dark. So if you went with love never lasts within the confines of a society, or love never lasts if one person has more invested than the other, most of the thesis statements went well as long as you addressed the structure somehow and the idea of the fish somehow. Okay, I'll tell you about polar breath in a second.